What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Everything Wrestling. And today we will be visiting Starrcade. Now, this will be the Starrcade that was under the Jim Crockett promotions, and then eventually we will transition to the WCW uh, sanctioned Starrcade. Personally, think that Jim Crockett had some of the better matches during the Starrcade era. Just when we think of Starrcade, we always think of the NWA. When WCW took it over, yeah, they had some stuff that stuck out, but when a lot of us old schoolers think of Starrcade, we always think of Jim Crockett Promotions. So sit back, relax, and let's go take that walk down nostalgia lane. We are going back to November 1983, which was the first Starrcade. And among that card, there was two matches that stuck out. The first one would be this match where um, you had the dog collar match between Piper and Greg Valentine. Now, this match actually goes down and has been kind of noted as one of the bloodiest matches, bloodiest, cruelest matches that's out there. If you haven't seen the match, I highly suggest watching it. To this day, Piper had, or when he was alive, he had ear problems associated from this match. Valentine had some issues from this match. This was one of those matches where you'd be like, oh, they left everything in that ring. If you At that time, Piper was the U.S. champion, but um, it was, well, if I'm mistaken, no, I take that back. I think Greg was the U.S. champion, but it was a non-title match, so the belt had nothing to do with the match. But boy, the dog collar aspect of it with that chain, yeah, and with it being old school, they let loose. So as you can see in the picture, we pretty much tried to recreate it as best as we could. So as you see, you got Piper and Valentine with the dog collar on there, uh, and Piper basically with the chain wrapped around his face. And like I say, if you haven't seen the match, I highly suggest it. The next match on that card, which was actually the main event, was the Flair. The Flair. Sorry about that. The Flair for Gold. And for those that don't know, before he came up with that for his talk show, if you remember WCW, he had a talk show called The Flair for Gold. There was actually a run uh, to the first Starrcade where Flair basically was on his road to get the title from Harley Race. This was like his quote unquote Flair for Gold. And pretty much he met Harley Race in uh, a steel cage. And when you watch it, it was kind of corny the way it happened, but with the referee, just all of a sudden bending down, and basically Harley Race tripped over the ref and Flair beat Harley with a crossbody. But, for that time, um, just to see Flair finally win the belt again, it was good. It was good TV. Let's say that. It was good TV. And then when you got two wrestlers or two legends in the ring, like Ric Flair and a Harley Race, it's bound to be a good match. So as you can see in our recreation, we have Flair coming with the crossbody onto a Harley Race, and then you can see our referee, which is bent down, and Harley Race is pretty much uh, about to be tripped up by the ref. All right, next up we have November 1986, and this is actually my favorite Starrcade, the Night of the Skywalkers. If you haven't checked out this particular Starrcade, I advise you to. This one was stacked from top to bottom in the card. and it kept you. It was like if you remember a lot of these wrestlers, like this was one of their best Starrcades. So you had Flair versus Nikita for the world title. You had the Rock and Roll Express against the Andersons, Dusty against Tully, and like I said, you had it all. But the one that we want to focus on is actually the Skywalker's match. So if you don't know the story behind this one, basically, when Cornette, Midnight Express, when Cornette was supposed to fall off of the scaffold, actually Big Bubba was supposed to catch him. And unfortunately, Big Bubba timed it wrong, and Cornette went thump onto the mat. Well, in the process of him going thump, he ended up blowing out, I think, 2 knees and messing up something else. So, of course, that was the last time I think that they even did the scaffold match, but I could be wrong. But basically, that was it for him. He didn't do that no more. But it was an actual dangerous match. But it for that time frame, it was different, something that we had never seen. So as you can see in the picture, with our recreation, we pretty much have Animal basically trying to knock Cornette down, and we got Hawk who has already gotten down off the scaffold, looking up, and we got Beautiful Bobby who's already gotten down off the scaffold, looking up. And the only thing that we're actually missing uh was Big Bubba, and this was shot before they came out with the Big Bubba. So but yeah, if you hadn't grabbed this, grab the gear from Figures Toy Company. Shout out to Figures Toy Company. Uh, but I would suggest if you are looking for the perfect scaffold, or perfect accessory to make the scaffold, just grab the gear is perfect. And then basically I took they call construction, they're like construction blocks, and I did the ladder part at the top. But other than that, you pretty much, I mean, you can make anything out those ladders. uh I mean, the side ladders or whatever those things are at the top, but the grab the gear itself is perfect for your scaffold match. Now we're going to November 1987, and this Starrcade took place in Chicago, my hometown. And this one was actually pretty good Starrcade, especially compared to 86. So 86 to 87 definitely are my top two Starrcades. With this one, you had the unification match between Nikita and I think it was Terry Taylor, I think. For the it was the UWF title, and TV. It was the UWF TV title and the TV title unification match. Then you had the uh uh UWF world title match between Dr. Death and Barry. You had another scaffold match between the Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express. Um, you also had the world title match, and that was in the steel cage between Ronnie Garvin and Flair. But the match we're gonna focus on was the match between Dusty and Lex Luga. And pretty much this actually set up the program where Luga basically breaks off from the Horsemen. So Dusty ended up winning this match, and winning the US title, but it all stemmed from JJ Dillon throwing the throwing the chair over into the cage, and basically Dusty DDT'd him onto the chair and won the match. So after that, we had the program where Luga would basically say, "Hey, I'm doing it on my own now. I don't need people to help me out." And JJ got offended by it, and ultimately, when they got up to the bunkhouse stampede and JJ thought he was gonna win the bunkhouse, Luga threw him out, and Luga was now broke off from the Horsemen, and that started the program with the Horsemen and Luga. So definitely check it out. Good match. All the matches on there were pretty good. So definitely one I would say take a look at. All right, so now our final um match that we're gonna or final event, I'm sorry, that we'll be focusing on is Starrcade 89. And this one was titled Future Shot. So now, uh, this Starrcade was focused mainly on tournament style. So you had the single tournament, Iron Man tournament, and you had the Iron Man tag team tournament. So this Starrcade, you actually got to see all your main uh wrestlers go up against each other at least once um before the tournament was over. So in the Iron Man tournament, you had Sting, Luga, Muda, and Flair. And in the Iron Man tag team tournament, you had the Samoan SWAT team, Steiner Brothers, Road Warriors, and Doom. So you had some powerhouse people in those tournaments. So and it was like I said, it was the first time that you was definitely gonna see them go up against each other if you hadn't seen them before. So in the picture, shout out to our buddy Bud Lightyear. He is recreating the match between Sting and Muda. So another like every match in that tournament was a good match. So I would definitely highly suggest seeing it. You got a lot of hard hitting matches in that one. But as you can see, Muda with the spin kick onto Sting. And yeah, um, that was it was ahead of his time. That match was ahead of his time. Now, if you look, NXT is basically now doing the Iron Man uh women and men's tournament. So, that's if you don't know where it came from, now you know. That was a NWA WCW thing before NXT took it over. All right, so that concludes our first Starrcade episode. Stay tuned as we have a lot more coming down the pipeline. If you haven't checked out our other series, make sure you check those out. We got Monday Night Wars with Raw. We got WCW Nitro, Saturday night's main event, Survivor Series. So, we got a little bit of something for everybody. Feel free to swing over to check out our photography. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe so that you would get the notifications when we're uploading new content. And we're always trying to do stuff that is um, different yet unique. So, and we want to thank everybody for the support that we've been given or been getting in the last couple of months. So, we really appreciate it, and uh, we just appreciate you all coming along for the ride. So, with all that said, y'all stay blessed out there. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you on the next go around.